I think I'm just going to start with how I made the trampolines in one of my latest games. Since I've seen Disco mention that multiple times. So what I'm doing here is just centering this. Okay, I don't know why it wasn't clicking. Centering this camera node on, this game screen node on, and I made it 16 by 9. The reason I didn't need to make it 16 by 9, I just think it's easier to work with, it's just simpler numbers. I don't really need to mess with these, so I guess I can leave them like this, because I don't plan on the camera moving for now. But this could work with the camera moving as well. Also, if I want a 2D feeling, I want this field to be as low as possible. So yeah, that's the basic setup. So have the camera pointing at the ground, that's nice. I guess the most important... Oh, my guy is kind of covering the thing. But yeah, so first of all, instead of just explaining how I made it work, I'll just go through the various steps and you'll soon see how it works as I make it. So, touch position, right? When I click somewhere on the screen, it doesn't really show, but yeah, you can see it's updating the value. And right now I'm dragging because if I... yeah, if I stop dragging it does that. But you can see that as long as I am clicking down, in this case holding down the mouse, it keeps updating the values. Now, this is useful because it means that I have always access to the last value of a click before I stop holding the thing. But and that is going to be part of what I need. Now, the other thing that I need though is actually the first value. So we're going to need a small setup to actually save that first value while I still have access, of course, to the disaster. So this is pretty simple to do. We get the X and Y inputs, and we use the other touch node on this one. If you go to the settings, we can set it to on touch. So basically, even if I hold down, it will only activate when I start holding the button, since I'm using the Joy-Con 2 mouse, or if I were to actually touch the screen, as soon as I touch the screen, it will send for one frame an output. And the touch where to output anywhere, not this node, but literally anywhere on the screen. So we have this, we wire it to those, that way the first frame I touch something, it sends the current value, which is what I need, and I need to store it somewhere. So we're going to need some sort of variable. Now variables don't exist in Game Builder Garage, but counters are pretty damn close. We're gonna need them to be on change from... it doesn't really matter since I already have something that is triggered from 0, but just so that it's easy to follow. Let's have on change from 0. No limit is fine. I mean, we're already limited by this, and we will be seeing more of that very, very soon. But, okay, doing this isn't enough, because sure, I click and it saves the value and I keep dragging and stuff. We also need a way to... well, right now it reset because I changed the... the programming screen changed, so it reset. But we need a way to reset the counter. Now, there's this reset port, but there's also another method that I kind of really like. And I'm going to explain briefly how it works. So we're going to need a plus minus inversion. And we wire it to the counter. So we are taking the inverse of whatever the counter has, and we wire it over here. That's basically all done. So now we have the reset thing working. Now, how does it work? It's pretty simple. Now, when it starts at 0, it doesn't actually do anything, so that's fair. When it has a value, like 500 in this case, when it's trying to send another value, what it will do is that it will sum up the new value to the opposite of what I have currently in the counter. So these two will cancel out, and the only thing that remains is the new value. So this is, I guess, the simplest way I can think of updating the counter as if it was a variable. And we are going to do the same thing on the other side. So let's copy these two. I'm going to also organize the code a little bit better very soon. So let's make them smaller. I could also have something symmetrical like this. Okay, so now these two have the first value, and these of course have the last value when I drag the mouse around. So imagine I was playing around with the trampolines, like I'd be drawing the trampolines like this, and I have access to the first value and the last value, basically the extremes of the trampoline. That's all. Yeah, that's all good. I'm thinking if there are any bugs. No, there aren't any bugs, but we can't really translate this into the game screen just yet, and that's because of something that I overlooked in the touch position, which is this. So the touch position uses pixels, but it doesn't really matter. All that matters is, well, everything that's said here. 0, 0 is the center of the screen. The far left, so over here, would be minus 640. Far right is 640, and then we have 360 positive and 360 negative. So this represents our playground when it comes to the touch position model, and we need to translate that into our world in the game screen. Now, the game screen, we still have the same kind of ratio, you know. So imagine this is still negative 640, and this is 640. And this is 360 and this is negative 360. We just need to turn it from pixels to centimeters, or in this case meters. And I chose 16 by 9 so that it can be very clear what I'm doing right here, but the perfect way to convert such things is using a map. Like, maps quite literally represent a conversion from one unit of measurement to another, so it works perfectly here. So for instance, we take the X value from this counter, and we know it goes from negative 640 to 640. Now, I don't need it to be this complex. For instance, we know that 0 maps to 0 because of the center, so one of them can just be 0 as long as the other one in the output is also 0. This also works. Now, 640 would be the edge of the screen. We know that it's 16 wide, centered in 0, 0, so the far left, actually far right in this case, will be 8 meters. So we want this to be 8. And there we go, that's a map, alright. That's already one thing done. Now, you could do the same thing, like do 0 to 360 and map that to, would be... what, 0, 4.5, but we can also just keep this map. It's going to work because the ratio is the same. Okay, so we have the two maps. We're actually going to need them for this part too. Actually, maybe I want to reposition a little bit just so that I have these things. I'm trying to make the code as readable as possible while I'm still going. They've touched. Okay, so now we have the different positions and everything. I haven't actually set up anything to test it, so let's just lock the screen because I don't want it to move while I'm working. Let's set up a little something just to demonstrate that what I'm doing is actually like working. Because who knows, maybe I did something wrong. I can't get this kind of stuff wrong anyway, so... you know, 0, 0, 0. And I don't want to move these either, so that's locked. Let's see, I'm going to need 2 freeze-like connectors for this demo. Oh! Hey, Freddy! Yep. That sure is working. Okay, so I'm showcasing the fact that... Oh, right, that's not... Okay, so the first one is the blue one, yeah, and the red one is the one that I'm dragging around. It's... Oh, I know what I did wrong. I know what I did wrong. Are these not center? No, they are center. Interesting. Oh, the game screen. Yeah, no, the game screen is not in the correct position. It's... Yeah, I swear I put it in the middle. I mean, I'm dumb and stuff, but like... Yep. Yep. No. Yeah. Now this is epic. So yeah, I'm showcasing this for the because this code did show interest in the trampoline tag. So I'm just showcasing how you would map the things. But this isn't it yet. Like this is just showing that I can have the first thing that I click and the last thing that I hit. But this isn't actually what we're going to use itself. What we need here, because we need the extending object, if you remember, we need the midpoint. We need the midpoint of this too. But the midpoint is extremely easy to get, actually, because all we need to do is... No, we'll get to the hinge, but right now we're doing incremental stuff. No? Well, you need the extending object to be... Oh, because you're thinking, okay, no, that's actually an interesting other way of seeing that. Instead of using the midpoint, you use one of these, right? And you have the connection point be... Okay, that's another interesting way of implementing it. No, no, what I did was the... I don't... Is it really less? No, because I think it's... Well, I mean, yeah, no, the distance between the two I'm going to do anyways with the square root, because you need the thing. Well, yeah, no, okay, maybe what you say is a little more not efficient, actually. What will... Yeah, because you get rid of these two. No, you wouldn't get rid of these two, because you still need them to calculate the square root. Yeah, you still need both of the points. You don't need... I mean, the midpoint wasn't that hard to calculate. It was, what, 2 extra maps? Yeah, sure. I mean, maybe some people need the midpoint anyways for other stuff. I mean, it's easy to calculate. You just get the two. Also, this is going to be very funny because I'm not recording Discord, so it just feels. It just looks like it's gonna seem like I'm talking to an evil version of myself. That is not heard. No, what would I leak? Talking about the... Okay, yeah. No, don't worry, I'll make sure of it. But... Oh yeah, no, that guy's cracked. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so as I was saying, the midpoint is very easy. All you need to do is sum up the individual coordinates of the 2 points and then divide them by 2. So this is what the maps are doing. I am dividing by 2 because 0 divided by 2 is 0 and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So this is a linear way to write that down. And I'm summing them up by just putting them in the same port. So we have x1 plus x2 all over 2 and y1 plus y2 all over 2. So this will be the midpoint. Now I don't need the free slide really anymore here, or at least not for this point. Let's remove it. Actually, no, I removed the one that I wanted to keep because that's the first click. The last click is kinda already highlighted by where my mouse is, so I don't really need to show where it is. But when I do this, one of them should become the midpoint now. Yeah, see? Stretches out. Ooh. Oh, you don't know how to use the square root for this, Freddy? I mean, this is like the one application of the square root. I'm just gonna showcase it right now, before I put the hinge. It's just, what's it called? Just a Pythagorean theorem. So, like, let me just get the square root real quick, so... No, there's no division. There's no division, man. No, it's just... No, it's not... No, it's simple. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared, which is basically, if you have a right triangle, you can take the sides, the two sides that make the right angle, take those squares, sum them up, and the result is going to be the square of the final side. So, okay, it's... Yeah. I'm taking a... Bro, this is like normal stuff. Okay, whatever. Imagine this is a right triangle. Okay, I did as close as I could. Okay, so this is the right angle. Okay, and there are two sides. Let's call them. Let's have them blue. We have A and B. Okay, so this is A, this is B, and then there's the final side. Let's say C. Okay, so there is a relation between these, so we have that a squared, sorry for the terrible writing, I'm trying my best, a squared plus b squared is c squared. Okay. No, volumes will be cubed. It's just geometry stuff. I'm not really sure. Yeah, you're talking about volumes. Yeah, area! Whatever, this stuff is c squared, okay? So this stuff is c squared. So, since they're related like this, I can delete that. We need to turn the final square thing, because we have a squared and b squared just fine, okay? Because we have the sides, and we can just square them by multiplying them by themselves. We can add them together, and we need to take the square root because we don't need the square for the distance. We need to go back, right? We need to reverse the square to get the square, to get the root. That's it really. That's all there is to it. So of course we don't... Okay. Nice. Okay, so to get the distance, we're going to need to do a subtraction too. And this is really interesting because this subtraction, I don't think it matters the order, because you're squaring it anyways. So if it comes out positive or negative, it doesn't matter, because when you multiply it by itself, it's going to be positive. But I mean, that's more technical stuff. So let's have this minus that, and this minus that. Okay. So that's something, and we got the square root. Okay. How do I... Yeah, let's just add the extending object for our joy. Let's see. I forgot where it is. I think it's here. Yes, sir. Extending box. Okay, so I think the easiest way to use extending objects is to just max out the side that I need and ignore everything else. So I don't need this, I don't need this, and max out this. Oh, connection point, center. Well, the midpoint, which I already forgot, I think it's the... Yeah, this is the midpoint. Is going to have that connected to it. And I could already test, I need a map. So, here's the thing. The extending object is going to extend or retract depending on the input. I already have it extended by 10. So I need a map now. No, the midpoint is very, very simple. You add the... Look, it's right here. This is the midpoint. You add... No, there's no difference. You literally sum the... No, if you do the difference, you... I don't know what to get if you do the difference. This is a trick that works in the Cartesian plane. I guess that's what it's called in English. I don't know, but like... You just sum up the coordinates and divide by 2, and you get the midpoint. It's It's literally the arithmetic mean. Otherwise, it's the arithmetic mean, and it also happens to do the midpoint here. So, yeah. Yeah, you divide by... So, you sum them up, you divide by 2. Okay, imagine just one dimension, right? Yeah, no... No, what offset? What? No. Look, imagine just one line, okay? Imagine just the x coordinate. So, let's say we have one point in x equals 3, and the other one in... actually, I want this to be nice. 3, 5, 7... Okay, let's say we have one point on 3 and 1 point on 7, right? What's in the middle? The midpoint is 5. You follow me so far, right? How do you get 5? You sum 3 and 7 to get 10, and then you divide by 2. This always works. You do that for every coordinate, right? You're getting my drift. Yeah, you're catching my drift. Okay, so we were back on this. So this is extended by 10, and we want it to be... Well, when this is 0, we want the extending object to not do anything, so... Okay, when we have 0 over here, we want negative 10. Because we need to get rid of the length that we have so far. I guess another easy thing is that if the square root is 10, we don't need to do anything. And that's it. This is the map, because 0 goes to negative 10, 10 goes to 0, and everything else in between is handled. So we connect it to x, and I think... Okay, no, this isn't going to work just yet. It's going to work in terms of distance. Where is my guy? Okay, in distance, but we don't have the hinge yet. We don't have the hinge yet, so that thing needs to rotate. Also, yeah, unfortunately, I can go larger than 10. So I can't really be exact. I guess that's where that's where our two implementations, Freddy, would have something different, because mine takes the midpoint, but yours would be stuck to the blue point beyond the 10. I guess that's just up to the to what you want to make. I don't think that's big of a deal. No, you can't. No, you cannot. You could technically have the midpoint and have the two extending objects, I guess, connected, one on the left, one on the right. That's tougher to handle, I guess. Not that tough, but I don't know. I don't know, but that. I don't know. Yeah, smarterer. Did you literally say smarterer? That is crazy. Okay, hinge. Something hinge. So, we're going to need a Y hinge because we're on a top-down view. And, okay, on the midpoint, so instead of connecting the thing like this, we have the hinge. And then we're going to have another supporting object. Let's have it not visible though. Connected to the hinge. And this object is going to be connected to the extended object. But another hinge isn't doing anything, and we need to figure out how all of this is going to rotate. Now, one node on that is perfect for this is the position to angle, because we have positions and we want an angle. Very, very simply put. Now, I don't remember if this works just as it is, or if I need something like a... I'll get to it. A map in between. But what do I get? I'm trying to think. We already have these differences used for the square root, but I'm pretty sure I can just connect the differences to the corresponding things, and hopefully this works. Oh, okay, no, I need to invert it, see? Wrong way. But I need an inversion. Here, right? Oh, or you... Oh, no, I get what you mean, Freddy. I get what you mean. So... let me try some things. Okay, I want to swap these two. I wonder. Yeah, no, this is it. Because I noticed that the other one was working fine. the Y one, and that the X was flipped. So I guess you do that. And as I said before, it doesn't really matter that I flipped them up for the distance calculation because we squared the number. When you square a number, it doesn't matter the sign. It's going to be always come out positive. So yeah, that doesn't change anything. Okay, so yeah, no, that's it. We don't really need this one. I can delete these nodons. Oh, you want to? Oh, you really want to go hard on the physics part. I mean, this is what Disco was mostly interested about. I guess the touch, how you get the touch to work. But yeah, no, I can guess. I guess try to do a little bit of custom physics. Let me just make this thing invisible so that we have something. I think that's it. It's just, yep. Now I'm drawing a blue trampoline stuff. And this is pretty cool to me. I don't know. I like it. So, if we wanted to add some custom physics, that took me a while last time. I mean, we're going to need another one of these, that's for sure. And we're gonna need a movable, I'd say fancy object, just so that we can recognize it compared to other objects. And fancy objects aren't here. Let's yeah, no, let's have a flat ball. How big? Guess that's. I mean, I'll just play and see if it's big enough. That is pretty small. I think I'll make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, we're seeing it from the top. It's kind of weird, but I guess we could change it to something that. Just change it to football. What is it? Soccer ball. Wait, is it called soccer in? Yeah, in the UK, it's football and soccer is in America, right? Okay, yay, we have a football, alright. No, it's because they also have American football, which realistically you don't really use the feet much there, but okay, but you still use them. I guess that's fair. Bro, I think that goes for every sport, but okay. So something I need. Okay, let's try and figure this out very simply. So, I'm gonna need to make gravity. I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy this because it's fun when you see it actually work in the end, but like the rest, making it isn't really simple. Okay, so remember, this is the position. I'm trying to do the gravity first because it's usually the most, I don't know, annoying part. So that's the position I have. This is supposed to be the speed, and the acceleration of gravity is a constant. I'm going to use a map for now so I can more easily change stuff. Okay. I'm not gonna have a terminal velocity, so I guess I can just... Okay, that is going very... Okay. So let's say... I don't know. Okay, this is going to be very quick still. Also, it should go in countdown, realistically, because the gravity is pulling you down. Yeah, no, this is still fast because remember, this is supposed to go over here. That is what. So that is way too fast. Let's make some lower gravity. So if we want to lower the gravity, we can just move these around. I'm guessing, I don't know, something like 500. So that'd be 499, -1. How bad is this? That still looks pretty bad. I mean, I can just check if I... Yeah, right. It's solid. Solid and the wrong thing. So, visible... What? No, I need to be visible. Oh, that's why it looked off. Center. No! Yeah, it's the axis. I know that. I just wanted to figure the other thing out first. Yeah, that looks like good gravity, alright. So, of course, the trampolines don't really work now. And maybe having it spawn a little bit higher would also be a plus. So it spawns from the top. Now, something I need to remember how I made the bounce. So the concept behind the bounce would be, yeah, changing this counter, like applying a different speed, like a positive one. So I'm going to need a similar setup to before. So remember how I made the change of the variable change with this? I think this is the easiest way to do it. Also keep track of whatever value that thing has. And when I need to change it, I'm going to remove it and reset it. I guess... yeah, I think this makes sense, because I don't care how fast you're going down, I need to kinda reset that and... yeah. Yeah, and set that like that. Okay. So... so yeah, this first port is what do I put in the speed, and the second port is when does it happen. I guess when does it happen is the easiest way to tackle, because I can just use a touch sensor for that. So where is it? There it is. So when the soccer ball touches a box, which in our case will be our trampoline, it triggers the change in speed. Okay, that's pretty simple. Let's change these. Let's make sure it's shaped like a sphere. What did you expect? Oh, no, we'll get, we'll get to the fancy smashy whatever. That was a pretty cool thing. Oh yeah, for people watching the video, he's talking about sine and cosine. I guess that's the inverse ones, that's arc sine and arc cosine, but... I'm not using triangulation. Bro, I'm trying to make it simple still. I want simple code over impressive code, right? I'm pretty sure the fact that that didn't do anything is kind of worrying, because yeah, am I not doing that? Oh wait, this is no limit, right? Yeah, this is no limit. While not a problem. So inversion and count. Okay, hold. I am inverting count up. Okay, wait. I'm trying to think. This is a positive. Yeah, no, this is a. It's negative, positive. That it's a touch sensor. I mean, it's on. Am I supposed to make it while touch? I think while touched is going to break. I guess. Oh, I know what's. Oh no, I remember. I had this. No. I know exactly what it is. I had this exact bug when I was making the game. In fact, check. See if you can figure it out. It is the touch sensor. The touch sensor is not working. Try. No, it's not already touching a box. It does touch a box, but it's an interesting thing. I connected them both to the same thing. So the touch sensor does not recognize this box. So what I think I did is just have a copy. It's a feature. Yeah, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Yeah, no, what I have right here in the moment is a bug, because I haven't actually... why would you do that? It gets in the way of the code. Okay, the bigger the trampoline, the less speed I apply. The bigger the trampoline, the less speed I apply, so that's so the square root represents logically how big the trampoline is. I map it inverse. 2 seems to... Let's try 4. This is more trial and error than anything. To the first port, because the first port is the value of the speed. Yeah, no, 4 is way too much. Trial and error, guys. Trial and error. That is still very... that is still a lot. Okay, okay. Let's... Ooh, I guess... I should enable range. For a simple reason. This is the logical length of the trampoline. However, we know that it cannot go beyond the 10. So if you draw like 2 trampolines, if I don't enable the range, you can have 2 trampolines that look identical. You drew them differently because you stretched one out more, and so it will look like the different things. With this range enabled, we make sure that that doesn't happen. So that's something. I need 0.1. That feels like very... Yeah, no, that's not much at all. Doesn't bounce much at all. Let's try 0.2 or 0.24. I don't know. It's quite literally just trial and error. Okay, so if I have a big trampoline, that does almost nothing. Okay, but in general it does work. Now, when it comes to the y-axis, that's a thing. But we need to do, and this is the part that I hate, the angling thing. So, I remember how I did it. It took me... What? Okay, tell me how you do it, Freddy. No, they are useful. I guess I didn't deem them useful for this. Okay, no, seriously, where is the... I need to start from an angle though, but that's the only... Oh, this is it! No, it's not that hard, Freddy, look! This is the thing! This is the modulo setup. No, this is peak though! No, look, and I just wired it over here! It's peak! That's it! That's all I did! Brother, that's 4 nodals. I don't think yours would have been 4 nodals. You already used 3 nodals. I don't think you could have done it like this. It's not... Brother, you have no idea how useful this... I'm going to implement it both ways. No, I swear. No, it's very cool when you see what's actually going on behind the scene. I swear. It looks weird, but when you see it in action, it's so awesome. I forgot if this setting was... No, okay, this had to be while not 0 because I used the... I used that setup. Bro! Okay, no, you can't use the high Q too high on me, bro. It's... I use them too! It's not like I don't use them. I know. Bro, trigonometry was my favorite part of math. Until... That was literally the setup I had in the other game. Quite literally. No, it makes sense. Okay, I'm going to... Did I seriously forget to invert this one? Man, I'm stupid. Okay. And yep, now that's stuck at the... Okay, so actually without dividing it by 10 yet, I'm just gonna show what's happening through the counter to the number object because this thing is very cool. So, okay. Yeah, you can see that right when the angle is about to change, right? Because right now it will go to the right if it falls on it. And right when it changes, oh, it also changes the sign of the number. How convenient. And here too, it will shoot it to the left. And not only that, check this. This is very close to like shooting it very far to the left. And this is just a smaller number. And it's going to be a small number negative now, which symbolizes going to the right in this case. And then it's very hard to the right and very hard to the left. So yeah, no, I don't think you can say that this is linear. This is quite literally looking at the angle and translating it into how far you're going to get shot towards the side of now. Now, this is one of those things that I thought about being possible, and then like I need to do some trial and error to get this right, but I think I can get it to work, and I got to work it for nonsense. Okay, this is okay. You call it this animal system. I'd say yeah. If I was making a tutorial, I guess again I wasn't going to make the physics part today because what I really the thing that interested Disco the most, I think, was just the touch part with which I already showed. But like this part is interesting. I wouldn't be exactly sure how to explain. Like, yeah, the idea is that I'm translating the range of the angle, which I think Game Builder Garage uses negative 180 to 180, if I'm not mistaken, as the default range for angles. So I'm translating that range into a negative 1 to 1 range, and it just so happens to actually be the speed that I need to send. Now, it's not exactly the speed because right now it's a negative number, even though I want it to go to the right, but that's nothing that a map can't solve when checking the out. Yeah, I guess divide by 10 and inverse and get the inverse sign, so something like this, and you'd have the percent speed. I can actually check, but it's gonna be kind of tough to check because it's going to be mostly, yeah, but it works. Yeah, small number, bigger number, and a negative number, smaller, technically bigger negative number, but whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, this looks fine. And you just apply this kind of thing, so I don't need this map. I probably need a setup similar to this. Now, this isn't going to be perfect like the other game. I definitely went through more stuff in the other game. But again, when you bounce off of the trampoline, it's going to apply the current horizontal speed and the new horizontal speed that I want to apply, which in this case is this one. So let's see just if it kinda works out or not. Point. Okay, not really. Now we need to figure out why. Is it just because it's too small of a value? I don't think so. Let's see. I have it here. Okay, that's fair. We send plus minus inversion. That count up. I mean, this is the same thing. How is this? Why not zero? That looks fair. Oh, right, because this is a speed. Right. I'm updating a speed. So I actually need it to be used as a speed, not as a position, maybe. That'd be useful, you know? So yeah, this is a speed, and we apply that to our position. Now, if it's a speed, I should actually double check, but yeah, that's fine. So count up, go here, make sure that this thing actually starts at 0, and maybe this thing will work. Yep, and it's going off screen. It's going off screen. Oh, I saved it. Okay. Yep, it's very much point. And this works. I'm just playing a lot with this thing and not really. Oh, I guess, yeah, okay. A few things that I'm not going to go over. I think this was a pretty... Yeah, no, 47 nodons for just basic mechanics. I like this. There is one thing. Of course, I mapped the logical length of the thing to this. The thing is, even if you don't see the extending object, it does in fact always exist. It bounced on trampoline. So, what I did in the game and what you should do too. I guess I'm just giving over, guys. I'm giving over to the viewer. Now you should just check if the square root is 0. Then you don't. You ignore this thing. So maybe there's, instead of just sending this to the calculator node on, you send like an AND node on, like this and square root. So if this is different from 0, it's going to actually send the thing, otherwise it doesn't. I also think I made it, because right now that's not the case, I think. Do I? Yeah. In my game I made it so that you have to release the trampoline. Right now you can just still drag the same trampoline. It's kind of funny, but yeah. And maybe you want your game to work like this for whatever reason, but yeah. I think it's a nice little, nice interesting way of using the touch node-ons. And okay, yeah, no, that's definitely going to be it for the. I've been recording for an hour. I didn't think it. I mean, it wasn't going to take long until you suggested to do the physics part, Freddy. But I guess it didn't take too long either. All right, quick note from me in the future. This prototype is pretty much finished. As you can see, it bounces the soccer ball, and it changes the direction depending on the angle of the trampoline. And also depending on how big it is, it bounces it way higher up or way less. So yeah, this prototype is going to be shared very soon. I'm going to have the code pop up right here, so you can check it out. As you can see, I also reorganized it a little bit and put some comments to separate the different parts. But yeah, it should hopefully be all readable. I did not really edit the code other than changing stuff, so everything you see in the video is here. Nothing else popped up, nothing else was deleted. And yeah, thank you for watching.